Hi, I'm Jayati. On behalf of Wiki, West Bengal Sustainable Business Council, I welcome you to our talk on circular fashion. Wiki West Bengal Sustainable Business Council is the apex body for sustainable businesses for women in the state of West Bengal under the aegis of Wiki, which is the Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Wiki WBSBC envisions to bring about fundamental changes in governmental policies, laws, and incentives with a view to encourage and empower women in sustainable business, industry, and commerce across all sectors and fields. I thank Dr. Harbeen Arora, founder, president of Wiki, President WBSBC Dr. Nayan Mitra, and Vice President Priya Sengupta and our extremely capable council members who have made this possible. When I was growing up, shopping for new clothes was a big deal. It happened during my birthday and during Durga Puja, and dresses passed down to others for years, some finally ending up as dishcloths. We were able to keep clothes in use and outside of landfills for many years. Today, we're buying clothes at an unprecedented rate, and what's worse, wearing them for lesser and lesser time. One garbage truck of clothes is wasted per second, and less than 1% is recycled. 86% of clothes are either landfilled or burned. As winters approach and the air quality dips, it's important to know that close to one-fifth of air pollution is in big cities come from landfills. Circular economy looks at designing out waste and pollution and keeping things in use longer. While the apparel sector has been one of the biggest contributors to climate change, greenhouse gas emissions exceed that of the aviation industry, it has also seen tremendous technological and systemic changes to break out of the take, make, waste linear process and move towards the circularity of reuse and regeneration. To help us understand this shift better, we have Girija and Garima with us today. Let's start with Girija. Girija Jha is an alumnus of NIFT with background of technology in apparel and garmenting. After having pursued Bridge program from NIFT Delhi and research fellowship at IIT Delhi, she's currently pursuing PhD in sustainability. Having worked in the industry in the apparel sector with companies like Madura Coats for a few years, she moved to academics at NIFT New Delhi. Her expertise lies in production technology, processes, ergonomics, and sustainability, while her research interest lies in sustainability with special focus in soft goods industry. So Girija, if we can start with you giving us an overview of circular fashion and perhaps take us through how it plays out in every step of the value chain, that'll be helpful for our listeners.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jayati, for the nice introduction. Thank you, Dr. Nayan, for getting me on board. It's my pleasure to be talking on the concepts of paradigms of circularity. Why are we talking of the fashion industry in first place? There are not many good news, but at the same time, I'll also be sharing a little of bad news. So let's have the good news first. The fashion industry, the soft goods industry contributes almost 3% of the global GDP. But coincidentally, this 3% of the global GDP accounts for 20% of the global industrial wastewater pollution.
Yep.
This shows a huge, huge gap area. Another good news is that this sector tends to be one of the biggest employment generators, especially for the developing world. Countries like Bangladesh, where the economy is really dependent on the fashion industry. But also, in addition to this, we know that every second, more than one dump truck equivalent of garment is either landfilled or it is incinerated. Definitely, this is not how it should be. The circularity in fashion is a concept which gives us an opportunity of $500 billion to the fashion industry in the forthcoming years. Currently, the state of things is that barely 1% of the clothing is recycled into new clothes. Moving further, let's define what is linear economy. As rightly put forth by Ms. Jayati, it is take, make, waste. Take, make, waste. Till when? The clothing waste accumulated between today and 2025 will weigh as much as today's world population. Isn't this a very mind-boggling figure? We need to wake up to the clarion call of moving from linear economy to the circular economy. To define and to introduce the concept of circular economy, As defined by MacArthur Foundation, a circular economy is based on the principles of designing out waste and pollution, keeping the products and materials in use, and regenerating the natural systems. Definitely, it ends up into a cyclical loop. It means there should be minimal or zero waste, because waste is nothing but the right resource at the wrong place and the wrong time. The paradigms of circular fashion and the tools to implement circular fashion in the fashion industry definitely are the 6 Rs. So when we talk of reimagine, we reimagine creating the product, creating and designing garments in a way that we use either mono materials with minimum of blends. We look at minimum resource consumption. We look at reusing and recycling materials. We look at choosing the materials right and designing out waste. A very classy example of this is how the company Reebok has designed its shoes, the range of shoes, which is biodegradable sneaker range. Now this design has 100% cotton upper part with the bio-based sole, which is made out of corn. Now this product has been certified by USDA as 75% bio-based content. Now this kind of a biodegradable product definitely fortifies the basic tenet of circular fashion. Another very classy example is how we begin with the end in mind. The Nike Making app. The powering tool, the app designed by Nike in association with LCF, the London College of Fashion. This application gives and empowers the designers to be able to see through the complete life cycle to choose the most sustainable material right in the designing phase. So this helps in beginning it right, beginning in a sustainable way, and designing for sustainability. So definitely such applications which are powered by industry, which are powered by the academia research, they are a lot, they are really helping in implementing circularity of fashion. Moving further to the next tool, which is used for implementing circular fashion, we say reduce. Reducing the resource utilization, reducing the chemical footprint, reducing the energy footprint, the water footprint, the carbon footprint, and being as minimalistic in designing and choosing the materials as possible is another big leap towards circular fashion. If we talk of reusing, the sweet taste of resources from waste definitely gives a lot of support to the concept of circularity in fashion. Minimal use of virgin materials, having second-hand clothing, having rented apparels, going for vintage clothing. Stella McCartney, the designer who designs her sustainable clothing range in almost every season. To quote her, "We believe that the future of fashion is circular. It will be restorative, it will be regenerative by design, and the clothes we love never end up in the waste." So the range that she launched currently, Reverso, it is circular by design, which uses regenerated cashmere from post-factory waste in Italy, and it has reduced the ecological footprint of the brand by up to 92%. So she doesn't only preach, obviously she does practice in all aspects. Another very interesting case is of Adidas and Parley collaboration, which is For the Oceans shoe collection, where they recycle the ocean waste and the illegal deep sea gill nets to create shoes, and they have been able to successfully recycle more than 55 million plastic bottles in a year. Definitely that decreases the burden of plastic a lot from our Mother Earth. How can we not mention the Levi's jeans? The rubbish jeans from Levi's, which circulated, which recycled in its 2013 spring collection, more than 30.6 million of waste bottles, the PET bottles that they used in launching their collection in spring 2013, they have been able to also save more than 360 million liters of water by designing this, the range of jeans, which they call the rubbish jeans. So that was another milestone achieved by the company Levi's, in addition to the Nike app that we talked about. So definitely we in India, we know that repair is something which we always do. It has been in a household to have a sewing kit or a repair kit, but the scenario is not same everywhere. It's not the same across the globe. So there are apparel brands which have been able to facilitate the repair concept, and they have been able to give a small sewing kit with matching thread, with matching buttons, or any kind of a small trim, that which is maybe a packet of sequins. And there are examples where the companies do give extended producer responsibility. So this EPR framework has been very successful. And in addition to this, designing garments which are better in quality, which are designed to last and for designed to be more durable. So they speak loudly of how the concept of repair can be one of the very important paradigm of circular fashion. And needless to mention, refusing to buy more serves as the basic foundation of circular fashion. How can I miss on mentioning don't buy this jacket example from Patagonia? So this jacket is very much refuting the basic concept of fast fashion, asking the consumers to buy only if they need it. And the product has been designed with all recycled materials, as much recycled materials as possible. And it is a very durable product. So ultimately, it is a very strong propounder of circularity in fashion. And let me tell you, my dear friends, that circularity in fashion not only is limited within the boundary of designing, repair, reuse, reimagine. No, it extends beyond this concept to green building. Let me quote the example of the biggest exporter of apparels from Sri Lanka, the Brandix Lanka Limited. The Sidua plant from Brandix has been the first platinum rated factory of apparel manufacturing in the globe, and that really serves a strong purpose of having a 360-degree perspective to circularity in fashion. And moving beyond, we would say that the future of circular fashion, as per the report from Common Objective, clearly states that the consumers today, it is all where it begins and this is where it ends. So circularity in fashion is not possible without consumer acceptance. So the good thing which Common Objective points out is that the consumers are very much aware, they are very much ready. And more than 80% of the consumers today are willing to return their garments, their used garments, to be able to get a voucher which they can use for purchasing the garments later. So this is a very, very strong and a very bold move towards implementing the circularity in fashion. Because for a customer, it takes only a few seconds and a few cents to change or to convert their sustainable choice into a sustainable purchase decision. So this kind of a promotional or a very encouraging move by any brand or by any organization or any such change in scenario is definitely going to boost the whole concept a lot. The conscious collection is what it takes to really have the circularity in fashion move. And currently, more than 12.5% of the global fashion market has already taken strong action towards it. And we see an opportunity of more than $560 billion. So definitely the road ahead lies where circularity in fashion is going to be working on the consumer pull and also working by the push from the retailers and the customers.
It was very heartening to know that not just the industry but the consumers are pushing the demand for responsible fashion, and that's the way ahead. That's absolutely wonderful to know. But just the last question for you: you teach at the premier design institute of the country, so do you see the fashion design curriculum incorporating circularity, and do you think the young designers are getting trained on their role in ensuring circularity?
Yeah, that question is really very tickling question, I must say. The best part of it is that when the students are on campus, they are, sensitized to the concept of circularity of fashion. And I must say, more than what they are sensitized, they get triggered to this concept. And we keep on this particular inquisitiveness in the students alive by having general electives on circularity in fashion and sustainability in fashion. We do have CSR as a part of the curriculum across all the departments. So I must say, this generation is really very much infected by the bug of sustainability.
That's really good to hear. Yes, I see a lot of hope from the youth, even the students that I teach. And yes, the road ahead looks green. Moving on to our next speaker, which is Garima. So Garima Dhiman is a sustainability practitioner with 7 years of experience in fashion industry. A proponent of responsible business, she has led social, environmental, and ethical compliance in India and Bangladesh for a UK-based retail brand, about which she's going to talk in a few minutes. She's trained on hazardous chemical management, migration, and sustainability, specializing in mitigating business critical risks by co-creating improvement plans and meaningfully engaging with global stakeholders. Garima has studied at NIFT Delhi with her master's in strategy and an engineering graduate in IT. She's currently exploring how technology can be leveraged to scale impact by respecting rights of communities. So, Garima, you have been involved in a successful waste reduction pilot in Monsoon. So, would love to hear the process and the outcomes of this project.
Sure. So, very quickly, I'm going to take you. I mean, I was planning to decide and talk about the role of designers, but Miss Girija has very,
Eloquently told us already.
has really
Yes.
taken it already. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I'm coming from sustainability background, but running around in NIFT campus, it gives you the aesthetics of design and the understanding of the challenges that we face in the industry. So once I was, I was just running at the factory doing my social compliance audit, and I was going through a cutting room, and I just saw that there are just piles of fabrics and fabric strips which are being just cut off and just discarded. And I just asked one of the operators that what are these being used for further? Like once you've done take it out of the cutting room, and they said that they would most probably be discarded and they will just thrown away. And I said, okay, do you think we can do something out of it? And he said, yeah, I mean the fabric is of amazing quality and it's such a sturdy fabric. We can actually make a bag out of it. And I thought that, okay, maybe the person who's working with this particular raw material, he knows, and let's just take his thoughts ahead. So we had a quick meeting with the designers, we had a quick meeting with the marketing team, and we thought that, let's create something out of it. So designers sat together, all of us had a collaborative good meeting, create value from this waste. And how do we do that is that, so there were these waste piles of fabric, which we had, cut, color aligned and segregated, and we sort of mixed it with the regenerative fiber. I used jute from, which is always readily available. And we hand tied, we actually incorporated our community female members, like whom we were actually supporting for our charity programs. We said that, let's make it a zero carbon energy program. So we just included all these hand weaving working women, and they just gathered. We trained them on working on how to reduce waste, create value from excessively waste generating fashion industry. So the cut patterns were soon, they were color aligned, they were hand braided, and they were made into product which could actually serve as a bag. And once the life cycle of bag was completed, it could be used as a rug or a chair runner. So it was a fabulous product. But we were thinking that even if this product was used and it was entirely tired, how can we actually make sure that the customer comes back and it returns it to us, and we can actually put this back into the loop of the production cycle? We thought that, okay, we had a meeting with the marketing team, and we said that, okay, let's have an understanding with the customer by giving them a discount coupons that once they return this bag to the store after it's been used, or involve themselves in a repair workshop that we have created after like year and a half, because that bag was quite sturdy, we can definitely get all the bags back. And we already had a plan that we can then sell this bag as a table runner or a chair cover. So that's how we sort of initiated an incentive based scheme for the customers. As a brand, we worked as on our on our extended producer requirements and responsibilities, and then we got all the raw materials back, and it was again given back to the manufacturer at a low cost price, and then they use it again back into supply chain. So this was a win-win situation for the business, the manufacturers, customers, and the community. So Yeah, I mean, that was a short example that I would really want to say. And also, I think, as an individual, I think it's very important for us to relook and uh, understand our patterns of consumption, and then just take a pause and then go back to how we used to function earlier. So essentially, like we said, that there were so many circular schemes in our own traditions. Like I remember whenever I on Sundays usually, when I used to be a kid, there used to be an old auntie, an old woman who used to come to our residential colonies, and she would exchange utensils in lieu of all the old clothing that we would give them. So it was such a beautiful model of circular economy in our own traditions. And I think we need to bring back those cultures, and we need to imbibe on our traditions and feel strong about them. And then maybe, create something like eBay did. Like, we could create alternative and exchange practices within our communities. We can organize clothes parties where we can, not just talk about the retail therapy that we had, but thinking and sharing the clothes we already have. I mean, just go to thrift shopping, organize clothes swapping parties with friends. I think it's such a good way to socialize and to bring back the memories of the clothes that you worn earlier. So it's
Yes,
such an expressive and
absolutely.
such a valuable thing to do with your community.
Yes, yes, and thank you so much, Garima. That was very, very useful for us to hear. And as we notice now that there are more seasons collections than there are actually seasons. So you have pre-fall and
Yeah.
pre-winter and winter, and you have a new collection coming out every week now. So as you said, and as both of you kind of reiterated, that maybe take a pause and look at our consumption and why are we doing it, and where has the joy of sharing and swapping and reusing gone and repairing. So thank you both of you,
Absolutely.
Girija, Garima. This was really, really helpful for us. Thank you, Girija, for taking us through the whole process of circularity, letting us know that India is the second largest importer of second-hand clothes. That was a very useful information for me. I didn't know that. Garima, for helping us understand the use of natural fibers that you've done, zero carbon program, involvement of the community. That was really, really useful. The example that you shared. But I think the end outcome of today's talk would be to really stop and look at our own selves and look at where our responsibility is, because this industry is not going to go anywhere. It might be the biggest polluting in one of the biggest polluters, one of the biggest contributors to climate change, but it's also one of the largest employers, especially for developing countries. Bangladesh has a huge percentage of its GDP dependent on this industry, so it's not going anywhere. But we need to stop and look at how responsible we can be. So thank you so much. And for all of you who've joined in, thank you.